what's happening, we're working with Julius Caesar's De Bello Gallico, um, Book 1, Chapter 1. And this is the introduction to his wars, his Gallic Wars. And it's his non-biased, quote-unquote, third-person account of what he did as a general in Gaul and the surrounding areas. This first part we got is basically he is writing out a map. All right, so Omnis is going to be going with Gallia, so all Gaul or all of Gaul. Deweesa, and as those guys are going together, you can say is or was, depending on how you take Deweesa, is divided in partes tres into 3 parts. Alright, this guy's going to be genitive. This is going to be describing an implied partem, as is this guy, as is this guy. Alright, so unum, alium, and tertium are all, talking about the partes. One of which, unum quorum, one of which the Belgae inhabit. And then the alium aquitani, they leave out the verb, and so you're going to want to bring in colon over for that. So alium partum, another part. And I'll just show this because it technically isn't in the text, but it's implied. And the tertium, the third part, and I'm going to put a line over there because those guys are ablative. All right, the third. And with this one, we're getting even less. So you had the Belgae and colon, and then you had just the aquitani, and the colon is left out. Now we have kind of sort of the group of people kind of sort of left out, and the verb. So I'm gonna do this again. Those, qui, who, appelantur are called. Celti, Celts. Lingua ipsorum, in the language. Of they themselves. Gauls. Nostra, in our language. And then an implied inhabit. Okay, so we've got 3 parts with which we're dealing. And if you get a chance to watch the video done by the Dickinson group, they actually color code this as they read aloud. But the Belgae inhabit one part, the Aquitani inhabit another part, and then the Galli inhabit the third part. Omnesi, all these, or you can say all them. Differ. Inter se, among themselves. And then we've got ablative of respect, specification. In language, institutis, customs, laws. All right, so deviated is going to be our verb. Our nominative is going to be here and here. And then our accusative is all the way here. So we've got a parallel construction with the accusative, ablative prepositional phrase, and then the nominative. All right, so Flumen, the river, Garonne. And that's the Garumna Flumen. Deviated divides. Accusative, the Gauls. From the Aquitani. The Marne and Seine. And those are rivers as well. Divide the Gauls. From the Belgae. All right, so we got some superlative action there. And it's describing the Belgae. We have partitive genitive going on right there. So, fortissimi, the bravest. Of all these are the Belgae. And this all just combos into one word, because. Because. And then we got our verb right there. And this is a superlative adverb. They are very far away. From the civilization Aquae and Humanitate and culture of our province. And if you notice there's a comma there, that's all one sentence. And it can be kind of overwhelming to start off with that, so that's why I broke it up. And minime, this is superlative, but usually means kind of like not at all, and it's going to be going with saipe over here. Oy, oy, yeah. I've made better arrows in my life. Alright, and the merchants. Minime saipe, do not at all often comiant adeos. All right, resort to them. And, all right, so this is its own clause, important, and they, and the minime is also going with that. So yeah, I may just scratch that and bring in, so again, they don't at all often do this. Bring in ea. This is neuter plural. Bring in the things which pertain to weakening, effeminandos, weakening the mind or courage. And third part of the sentence, proximi sunt Germanis, and they are very close to the Germans. And this is superlative. This is dative with special adjective. All right, so qui who. Live across the Rhine. Quibus cum, with whom. They constantly, continenter, they constantly wage bellum war. All of this is going to work together because of this. Or regarding qua causa, regarding this reason. The Helvetii. And if you have the map, you can find them, who these groups of people are. Also, predicate, surpass the rest of the Gauls. Reliquos Gallos. And then habit of respect or specification. In virtue, quote, because a contendant they contend. All right, fere is kind of almost. Quotidianas is daily. And almost daily battles with the Germans. When, if you notice, we got an out and an out. And the pronouns here in English will get a little bit messy. In Latin, they actually are very, very nice. When out, either they repel them, those are Germans, and then the Helvetii, when they repel them from their own borders, or they themselves, ipsi, Oops, hold on. They themselves wage war in their borders, the there being the Germans. So if you see, we have a lot of them, there, they, and in English that gets kind of messy, but in Latin, if you notice, they've got nice little variety there in the pronouns, and so that can be helpful with regard to that. All right, unipars. One part of these which dictum S is said that the Gauls occupy Caput initium takes its beginning from the river Rhone Continenter Garumna Flumina is contained by the Garonne River by the ocean by the borders Finibus Belgae Now, all of that was its own like relative clause. Oh, scratch that. Nope, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll put a semicolon there. Attingit, it also borders the Rhine River from the Sequani and the Helvetii it turns to the north. Whew. All right, 2 more little sections. We got this. The Belgae Orienter rises from the extremis finibus from the extreme borders, furthest borders of Gallia it stretches pertinent Alright, we've got a little comparative adjective here. It stretches to the lower part. Of the Rhine River. It looks or faces Settentrione into the north. And setting sun, which would be the west. And then maybe the second easiest sentence of them all, we'll see. Put a comma in there. Aquitania. All right, pertinent extends from the Garonne River to the Pyrenees Mountains. And all right, to eam partem, to that part. Oceani, of the ocean. Which is near Hispania. It looks specked up between the setting of the sun and the north. All right, now, if you caught a screw up of mine, it's gonna be right there. Sorry if this messes everything up. Oh, long day. Whoopsie. All right, so that is, the big JC writing out, basically the map of Gaul. And this is what we're going to be using. This is where all the action is going to be taking place. Some would say this is not the most exciting passage in the world. I am going to agree with him. But the Romans needed an idea of what was going on and where what was going on. And so this would be very helpful for that.